A new session of Poker Time has begun. Vlogger's Paradise continues, Grant.
Vlogger's Paradise. There is Zach Elwood, the tells expert.
Not a vlogger, but he's written 3 books on tells.
But he didn't write a book about under the gun opening ranges because he just folded ace queen 8-handed.
What? Maybe he had a tell on somebody.
It's the first hand of the session. I don't know.
That was a strange, surprising fold.
Well, that's how you
Zach.
start with a bang, or I guess a whimper.
Well, maybe a bang. Maybe he's dodging something huge. I got nothing.
There's Matt Vaughan.
There's our vlogger.
Is a vlogger. You should check out his channel. But also, don't ever watch his channel instead of ours.
Just to be clear.
There's a new player, Isan, who we haven't seen before, out of the frame there, called with ace-jack. And the digital one, everybody's favorite. Gonna make a mandatory call with ace-5 here.
Lots of dominated hands.
As we can see, Brewer might be splashing around a bit this session.
Yeah, he started right away with it. And big flop.
He flops really well. Matt Vaughan flops a jack, and so does Isan. Digital Dan with nothing. Brewer probably happy to basically get it in on this flop.
You would think, right? Like right away, let's go. Monster flop for him.
Our vlogger getting involved right away.
As he should. He's got a gut shot and top pair good kicker.
Something you guys might notice about Isan as we go is he tends to take his time with his decisions. Very, very critical thinker when it comes to poker.
Critical thinker.
Well,
is he like, these chips really suck. I don't like the colors of them. What is with this, this vlogger sitting next to me?
More of the academic sense. He likes to take his time and make sure he makes the right decisions.
Everybody calls, and here we go. Lots of crazy turn cards.
That is a card that nobody wanted to see.
Yeah.
Somebody can rep it, but I don't think anybody's going to with the hands that people have.
This is normally going to check through because everyone's got a little too much equity to mess around with. Also, it's just so easy for someone to have a queen. It's harder for now Matt and Brewer to have a queen. Usually one of them would bet on with the 2-club board and 2 other people in the hand. But it's a very reasonable spot for Isan to check back, of course.
But Isan looks like he's going to bet. This is interesting.
I guess he's trying to charge.
He's charging the club draws. I mean, I assume he's shutting down immediately if he gets called.
I would assume that too.
Now, Matt and Brewer might both call because they both have draws to the queen, and Brewer, of course, has the flush draw. I think Brewer can't fold.
I think Brewer can't fold. I expect Matt Vaughan will fold, though. Where Matt Vaughan could be also drawing to a chop.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be good. Now, it's unlikely. He blocks it. The action hasn't really suggested that, but it's possible. And if he isn't, that means he's drawing to 3 outs a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think he's going to find a fold. I think you're right. Especially when there's a call in front of him.
And in fact, Matt Vaughan, by the way, is drawing to a chop. Like, it's not the chop he is expecting. Like, but the queen is the only way he can ever win this pot if he gets a showdown.
Well, Isan is in great shape heading to the river.
Just got to dodge the queen and the club. He does. Let's see if Brewer just gives up here.
$900 pot on our first pot here.
Really? That could have been there could have been huge action in that.
Guess who had a queen, by the way?
Oh, my gosh. And he definitely would have called on the flop.
With a draw to the nuts. Zach Elwood, folding ace queen.
Wow. Yeah, that would have been a big pot to win right away. Isan's thinking about it. He's thinking, do I have to bluff this? That's got to be what he's thinking, right?
So he's trying
thinks he's losing.
To get Brewer off of Jack 9 or Jack 10.
Yeah.
Those hands make a lot of sense the way Brewer's played the hand.
Brewer could even have pocket 8s.
Or 9-10.
Yep.
Or 8-9. Now, Brewer's not folding a straight, but Brewer probably doesn't play a straight the way he's played the hand so far.
Usually not.
So this is a bluff, we think.
It just has to be. If he's going to bet it here. He doesn't actually bet it yet. He does have reasonable showdown value. There are a few hands he can beat, which it turns out Brewer does have.
It's only the type of hand that Brewer has here, though. That's really the only type of hand.
This is cool. He's turning top into a bluff, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, because Brewer didn't play it like a straight at all.
And Isan did. It really looks like Isan has a straight here. I don't think if Brewer has pocket 8s, he could decide to call, but it'd be very reasonable to fold there.
Ultimately, an unnecessary bluff by Isan, but well thought out.
It landed right on your hand as you were thinking.
He calls. After he calls the bet.
Isan's got to feel pretty good about that one. Probably thinks he, earned that pot.
Yeah.
But turns out he just had the best hand.
Well, he played it well, though.
Yeah, I like how he played it. Oh, interesting to bet turn and river with a hand that good. Kind of cool. This is 5-10. We got vloggers here. You can't mess around.
No messing around.
He might put you on camera and
welcome to TV Poker, Isan.
Say mean things about you.
Stuart welcoming Isan to TV Poker.
And you can watch this on a TV. You got a smart TV, so sure.
Or an Apple TV or a Chromecast.
Yep.
Or just a really strong will and desire to watch it on a TV.
That'll do it too, for sure. It's Digital Dan, what do you do? No, I'm just kidding.
That makes up for the ace-queen fold.
Yeah.
$5.
50-50, man. You win one, you lose one. If you
Yeah.
can keep doing that, you're going to crush this table. What's on Zach's shirt? Are those pizza?
No, those are watermelon.
Shrimp?
Watermelon.
Might be shrimp.
No, it's not shrimp. It's watermelon.
How can you tell?
Because I was there.
I don't know what that means. Wow. Ace queen. Just throw it away, huh?
Yeah.
Just into the mug. 8-handed. I guess he's decided he's going to start off by playing tight. And it's a perfect example of it, I guess. I wonder if he's burning inside a little. He probably thinks he was chopping with Isan anyway.
He probably does.
So
yeah.
he probably thinks, it wasn't that.
But drawing to the
wasn't that big
nuts.
deal. True.
Fold.
Zach Elwood has written 3 books on poker tells that are very well researched.
Yeah, quite good.
Very worth looking into if you're interested in tells.
Yep.
Verbal tells especially.
He wrote Exploiting Poker Tells. I think it was called Exploiting Verbal Tells or Verbal Poker Tells. And I cannot for the life remember the last one.
Well,
but
just look up Zach Elwood and you'll find him.
They're all good. He actually has a few stories of mine in his book as well, so I highly endorse them.
If Levy's in there, Levy endorses it.
Well, yeah, that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
You have to buy those books.
That's why we're trying to get John Cena on Poker Time. Because if he's in there, he's endorsing it.
Well, yeah.
That'd be good for us if we got John Cena.
I guess it would.
I notice how I didn't say The Rock, who's the better version of John Cena, because I'm.
Ow, well, now we can't get John Cena.
No, he's not going to watch this one. I know John's schedule.
Here's Matt Vaughan. Vlogger, let's it go.
Why are you so excited about that?
I just want the Vlogger to play a hand. He folded 7-5 suited the hand before. He folded 4-3 suited here. These are obviously very reasonable
There's
folds.
Ken the Destroyer of Worlds, the biggest winner in Poker Time history.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Zach's got King Jack, and oh my goodness, here we go
Wow.
again.
You're allowed to flat the button there with King Jack.
I guess Zach just wants to see how the game plays first.
I guess so.
He's been taking some time off poker. It's been a while
True.
since he played a cash game, so he wants to get comfortable.
I think he actually said to us, this is the first game he'll have played in a year. So the last time he played was on. He would have flopped huge again, by the way.
Zach, poor Zach. All right, Stuart flops a gut shot, and that's about it.
Wow,
Well, there's some camera.
Ken's the kind of guy too who is often going to bet. Oh,
Looks
I did
like
check.
It
but-
checked through. Stuart's
Yeah.
going to bet his gut shot. I think it's a good bet. He has jacks
Sure.
in his range. He has queens in his range. Brewer doesn't necessarily have too many of those things. He's
Brewer
the guy
can
to
have-
worry about.
Brewer can have a jack for sure.
Yeah.
But
Ken's
the
not
queen.
the guy to worry about here.
Ken almost never has it, and Ken has to let it go. And Zach's like, well, maybe I have the worst hand again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could have queen jack.
6
could have
is
ace
full.
jack. 6 is full. I mean, maybe these were good plays.
Maybe.
But, I assume he's just finding his feet a little bit. This reminds me, I know a guy. I'm going to tell a quick story here. I know a guy who played in the World Series of Poker many, many, many years ago, like 2004 or something like that, 2005. And it was the main event. It was the first hand of the main event. He was on the TV table. Eric Lindgren was at the table. He had 10-3 suited. He was in the big blind. Like 7 people limped. He checked. The flop was a 3 and 2 of his suit, so he flopped a pair and a flush draw. Everyone checked to Lindgren, who bet like 200, and everyone just folded, including our guy. He just folded a pair and a flush draw on the flop, and later he said, I just didn't feel ready.
Well,
Just wasn't ready.
that's suboptimal.
Yeah. So I'm going to guess Zach needs an orbit or two to warm up, and then hopefully he'll start mixing it
He
up.
folded 6 deuce. That was a good fold.
Yeah.
Fold.
I feel like if I don't defend, you're going to be raising all day, right? Yeah.
Just giving a fake reason for calling.
Yep.
Good flop for Stuart.
Very good.
Nice to have that ace of diamonds there, too.
You feel so safe and warm with that flop.
Let's see if I have any diamonds. Nice. Get the deuce.
Better than the deuce.
The deuce was good if you hit it. I only had ace high. Ace of spades I have.
Some spades.
Just wasn't so pretty after the flop. Or what Norman Chad says.
Ooh, taking shots at Norman Chad there, Joseph.
Yeah. I like a lot of what Joseph has to say. Just says it so quietly. This is a PSA for Joseph. Talk louder on Poker Time.
I'll have to turn his mic up, I guess.
Anything the Norman Chad says, it's probably a fairly true thing.
He's not having a good time.
Yeah.
It's
won
easy
that
to have
first
a good
spot.
time when you win $900 pot in your first hand. Reasonable fold under the gun with Queen Jack off.
Absolutely. We haven't seen the only person we've seen even slightly get out of line so far is Brewer on the first hand with the King Deuce suited.
Which
He
is
flopped-
not even that out of line.
No, he
And-
kind of flopped a miracle hand
Yeah.
too, although it didn't work out.
And now he's got a really pretty hand on the button.
35. Four.
See if we get some Matt Vaughan action. It looks like we're going
Yeah,
to.
this
Good,
is- this
good
is-
reasonable defend.
Super clear call for Matt Vaughan. And a good flop for Brewer.
That is a great flop for Brewer.
Gotta believe. Once again, he flops a combo draw. He's 2 for 2 on those. Flopping them, I mean.
I mean, he's going to be 1 for 2 as far as wins, I think. Once Matt Vaughan quickly folds this. Yep.
Indeed. That was quicker than expected. In that, by the time the camera got over there.
Yeah.
Cards
Makes
are
sense. He's
gone.
like, you have a range advantage anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not giving anything away that I fold here, having defended
Yeah.
the big blind.
Small pot. Brewer's like, cool, 50-50, man. 1 for 1. I'm even. Even
Yep.
Steven over here.
It's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, anyone who feels they're a losing poker player, count the number of pots you win versus the ones you lose. Don't count money. Money is a ridiculous way to keep score.
Oh, of course.
Just a thing. Just a little tip. Little poker tip from me to you.
Really smart.
I'm gonna play the
Jack 9 off.
I might play. There's like a $3,500 high roller the Thursday
You guys,
before.
I'm starting to think I might be in the wrong game.
And then there's a,
Yeah, it sounds
there's like a,
crazy.
Sun- there's like a Sunday 1K.
So serious over here.
You should just win all of them.
Sound like they're
Brewer gonna have to play this one.
Yep. This is one of those things you got to open in the cutoff, but you don't love it. It's just not that fun of a hand to play.
No, it's true.
Joseph has got nefarious intent, but he decides to wait.
Oh, that's so nefarious when everyone sees your 7 dudes.
Oh, wow, how did you let that go?
No, I wasn't
My
trying to.
goodness.
Damn it, Joseph.
Fold, fold.
Matt Vaughn's making fun of Joseph. Shouldn't do that.
I was going to say,
Joseph. Joseph will get you.
Matt Vaughan, you never poke the bear.
Yeah.
The bear pokes back. You know.
Joseph will bluff you with 6-4.
Yes, we've seen him do it. And 7 deuce and all the things in between.
Yeah, it's
you don't have to, like, run away from the table.
exactly.
Yeah, it was like it's too
It
early.
made
I was saying you get long strokes.
These 3 guys here. That is like those are 3 tough poker time players right there.
Yeah.
Stuart Brewer and Joseph. Make the table tougher.
This is one of
than
our
typical.
This is one of our
poker time
tougher
tables.
lineups
Yeah.
that we've had.
Welcome to the game, Matt Vaughan.
Yeah.
Unlike Johnny Vibes, Matt Vaughan does not have a huge camera sitting in front of him.
No.
I think that's a bad thing for Vaughn, though.
I
right?
think
like,
he's supposed to vlog.
Yeah, like what's going on?
That's like his title. Vlogger.
Where is your camera, bro?
He's just so excited to play on Poker Time. He forgot all about it.
It's like a kid in a candy store.
Gonna call this one reasonable. He could 3-bet also, but calling is fine.
fold.
Yeah, calling is fine, especially when they're this deep.
And it's a good flop for Matt. Flop
Yeah.
the second nut flush draw here. Probably gonna bet it, would be my guess.
Feels like a pretty clear bet.
Joseph is tricky and will check big hands sometimes, but that's just something you gotta live with.
The second nut flush draw. Yep.
That'll do it.
Matt's happy to win it now. He's happy to build a pot for when he improves later, and then can't get any money when the 4th spade comes.
Speaking of money, let's summarize your advice from earlier.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, you could be, short on your mortgage for months and months because you've been losing money playing poker. But
Yeah.
if you won more pots than you lost, it's all good.
I mean, the first part of what you said doesn't really fit with the second part, though. How would you be short on your mortgage if you're winning more pots than you lose?
Well,
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Pots can be different sizes, Jonathan. I don't know if
Yeah,
you-
of course they can, but that's about the dealer and how they push the pot to you. Obviously, they're going to push them different ways. Every dealer's got their own distinct style. That's a weird thing. I don't even. Are you trying to? I feel like you're trying to confuse people, but that's fine. You've got your.
Yeah,
humor,
I'm trying to
You got your
confuse people.
humor stylings.
I'm trying to confuse people.
Win as many pots as possible. Don't worry about the size of them. that's my advice. All right, here's Isan with Ace King.
That's a nice hand on the button.
Much like our podcast, Lighting Money on Fire, maybe don't always take our advice.
Not Jonathan's. Ooh, wow. This is effectively a cooler button versus big blind.
Yeah, this is should be a 3-bet most of the time from El Digitale, and indeed there it is.
Sorry, 85.
85. It's a smallish 3-bet.
Yeah, I agree.
Heads up, out of position, I would prefer a bit of a bigger 3-bet.
I would expect Isan to often 4-bet this, although they are so deep that he may not want to get blown off the hand.
Calling has a lot of benefits, too.
Yep.
Like, nobody's going to put you on ace-king when you call.
That's true. Also, he is in position, which is super sweet, and he is going to call. I like this play. I think this is good. I think both are fine, though.
Both are fine. Folding's the only problem there.
Well, yeah, which is impossible.
It's possible. I've seen people do stuff like
That's
that.
crazy. Digital Dan going to continue here almost always.
I think Isan has to call once unless the sizing is crazy.
Yep. But assuming Digital Dan bets like 100. Oh, 75. Digital Dan super down bet here in a cash game. Not something you always see. I mean, it's not really a super down bet, but
No.
it's a down bet.
It is. But that's okay.
Sure. No, this is fine. He's getting value when he's a 72% favorite.
That's improving Dan's hand to a straight draw along with the pair. Isan does have a little bit of that in his range, though. He
Sure.
has a little bit of jack-8 type hands.
He's got pocket nines for sure.
Yeah,
right?
pocket 9, 7-9 suited, 10-9 suited.
But overall, that's a good card for Dan.
Yeah.
This is probably going to do it.
150.
I guess 6-8 was a double gutter if he had 6-8 suited.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the end of the hand, though.
I do too.
Isan could be drawing dead already. It's unlikely, but it's possible.
I have played a little bit with Isan, and I will say this. This guy is not a huge folder.
Well, he folds there.
Yep. Makes a good fold.
He's like he's like a normal height. What do you mean by huge folder? Like if Andre the Giant folded?
You are really obsessed with sizes this time. Size of pots, size of people. Neither of those things are ever relevant.
You don't want to talk about Andre the Giant?
Of course I do.
Yeah. Who doesn't? National treasure.
Anybody got a peanut?
Does anybody want a peanut? But
Close enough.
it was very close. See, he's not asking for a peanut. He's a giver. He's offering the peanut.
You said it was anybody got a peanut.
No. That's what you said.
Okay, here we are. Stuart, nothing. Brewer, he is wearing that hat. It's not really the most fashionable choice, but he's decided to go with
Why are
it.
you always
Critical
you're like,
thinking.
You're like on the hit squad of fashion despite how you dress, which is
those who can't, commentate poker. Queens for Vaughan here. He's going to 3-bet.
Yeah, looks
Matty
like-
Vaughan finally getting involved.
well, he's been involved. What are you talking about?
Whatever. I'm just talking.
Isan has to fold a nice hand because of the 3-bet.
Yeah.
I imagine Joseph will probably call. Well, now Digital
wow.
Dan's going to at least call, and then Joseph will be obligated to be in the hand.
Yeah. Digital Dan really has to call here.
He could 4-bet as well.
Oh, yeah. That would be fine. But he hasn't seen Matt Vaughan do anything even slightly out of line. I would expect him usually to call. He does.
Looks like we've got a decision here for our tells expert, Elwood.
Zach Elwood is not going to fold a hand. It's new.
It's tens, and he's going to smooth that as well. This is becoming a strange pot. Joseph, of course, has to call now.
Everyone really has to be in this pot. These guys all really have sort of no choice but to play this hand. I wonder if Ken is, or Isan is, wishing he had his 10-9 of clubs back. Anyway, here's the flop.
Oh, 10 right in the window for Elwood.
Great flop.
Check.
Matt Vaughan's going to believe he has the best hand a lot here.
Let's just watch this play out.
Yeah.
Let's watch the beauty.
Check. That's 220.
It's 220. That's probably never going to find its way home, Matt Vaughan. I'll tell you what.
Dan's in a bit of a tough spot with nines here. I think it's
Yeah.
probably best to fold with 2 players behind.
Man, but it's tough. You're right. I think it probably is, but you're folding the best hand a fair amount of the time. But you're going to be in so many tough spots.
Look at Elwood trying to contain his glee.
He's doing a reasonably good job. He looks pretty unhappy to me.
That's Elwood gleeful.
Oh, my bad. Just weird to have pizza on your shirt. But
It's
whatever.
watermelons, which is not weird.
You said shrimp before.
No, I didn't. That was you.
All right, let's watch what Digital Dan does.
Wonka had shrimp on his shirt one
Yes, he
other
did.
time. That's what you're thinking about.
That was Jake.
He had sheep.
All right, Elwood knows he has the best hand. He has the nuts.
All in.
Oh, he just moves it right in.
ships it, trying to make it look like a draw.
And that's an
I kinda
effective-
like this.
I like that too. If
I like
Vaughn
it a
has an
lot.
overpair, he's probably supposed to call based on all of the draw
he
combos.
has to call.
Although he does have the Queen of Hearts, which he doesn't love, but still.
Yeah, look at the face. He's like, well,
Well, this is just not
And
going to
there
be a
he
good
is.
start for our vlogger.
yep. Get your camera out, buddy, when you rebuy. I don't know if Vaughn could really do anything about that, though.
Or eights.
There's
Gonna
the
need
pain on Vaughn's.
two-outer on
Oh!
that. Wow. Look at his face.
He feels
Yep.
bad, but he feels good.
And I was like, nice game, guys. No,
No, he'll be back.
He's just reloading.
He's like, well, who put this on me?
Yeah, how does this work? Is this a...
What is that?
I need help. I know. He probably feels a little shell-shocked after that Queen on the River.
I mean, you get it in with the nuts, and you end up not against the flush draw. You're against the two-outer.
It's really a kind of a dream scenario, right? I mean, I guess the best scenario is that you're up against a worse set and they have one out. But come on.
How do you like that split screen there?
Kind of love it.
I know you do, Levy.
I wish we could have seen Elwood's face when the Queen hit, but that's hard to do, of course.
We were looking at Vaughn's face
Yeah,
because
that's
we
good.
thought we wanted to see his pain,
Right.
but the pain was actually Elwood's.
Yeah, I don't know how we're supposed to
That's
do that
what our
in
job
real
is
time.
here. We're always just trying to capture the pain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a doctor.
Yep. Capture the pain. Throw it out the window. That's the doctor's job.
Everyone, Isan, loving this bad beat. Well, usually when there's blood at the table, it's going to encourage some action.
Just over 14K in the pot. The turn is the 4 of diamonds.
Hey, what is that? Speaking of turn, coming around the mountain? Is
Oh.
that the Nitrogen Sports Poker Train?
I think they did buy a train recently.
If you listen, you can hear its very familiar jingle. And choo-choo. Wait, there's the jingle. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
Wow, that's the weirdest ad ever all of a sudden. Anyway, Nitrogen Sports Poker Room is, they let us do ads like this.
They
perhaps
do.
because they don't listen to them.
Free reign, baby. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro. I just want to say that is my all-time favorite 30-second commercial for anything ever.
We've been doing it for a while now, but it still feels new to me.
Yeah. That train. Here's
Joseph's
Joseph.
not going to fold ace queen.
No, sir.
Raise to 35. Fold. Fold.
Ken wants to consume some worlds. He's
Yeah.
a little hungry. Light snack, maybe on Joseph's chip
Oh,
stack.
I didn't know that he ate the worlds after
Yeah.
destroying
Oh, no,
them.
he consumes them. That's how they're destroyed.
Okay. So they're reconstituted into
Poop.
Ken poop. Ken flops a flush draw.
Let's see if Joseph decides to continue. He does have the ace of spades in his hand and, of course, overs. He will bet.
Poop. Very good.
Thanks. There's Elwood with his reload.
And his sadness.
Yeah. Let's see. A spade would be interesting.
Is not a spade.
No.
No
In
matter
fact,
how hard you squint.
It's a gut shot for both players, though.
Yep.
Check, check.
Ken checks it back. That's
Interesting.
surprising.
Ken's usually going to bet those.
I'm really surprised he didn't bet that.
And that's a big nothing burger. Joseph wins if Ken doesn't bet.
Ken is going to bet now.
I think-
Harder to rep things now.
It's going to work, though. Joseph can't call with ace high on this board.
120.
Like, Ken could have 10-8 of spades instead, and bet that for
Yeah,
value.
of course he could. Or he could even have 5-6. No, he probably would check that. back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ken actually sometimes will bet small pairs on the river. He's got wider river ranges than some. Well, I would have liked to bet on the turn, but the Destroyer of Worlds, he just got to eat. And
Yum.
he did.
Yum, yum. Those worlds taste good. All right, let's see if Elwood can get himself back in the game after a crushing blow, having played tight,
Yeah.
very tight up until then.
He really waited till he really had it, and
Yeah.
it still didn't work out. It's tough.
Fold.
Isan, gonna have to play this one, I would think. No.
Ooh, that's a strange,
tight as well.
strange fold. Maybe he knew Ken was going to flop a set.
These guys are, like feeling their way out. This is just the first of many episodes of this session, so I was
All
going
right.
to try again here.
But didn't you learn your lesson? Flopping a set is no good.
Fold.
Just never raise when you flop a set, I think is the lesson.
And a couple of Brewers outs were folded by Isan. But, of course, this is a mandatory defend.
Sure. He probably sees as much of a straight draw as anything else. Whole lot of nothing, which means pocket fives are still good.
Ken bets this pretty frequently, and it looks like he's going to, and it's just gonna end things unless Brewer makes a move, which I don't imagine happening. I guess Elwood's a little suspicious.
But he's got a guy behind him too. This is a pretty easy fold. Ken may think he got away with something, but he just had the best hand.
I mean, he was never getting away with something. Maybe 6s or 7s would fold. 8s, maybe.
Maybe.
But any flopped pair or pair above the 9 was definitely calling.
Of course.
So mostly just protection there.
It worked.
He protected.
Deuce on the turn. Elwood hits a set. 5 on the river. Elwood goes broke. That's what could have happened.
Then Ken should have checked if that was what was going to happen.
Right. My bad. They would have gotten it in on the turn.
Maybe.
I've gone up to 2.8K now after hitting that lucky queen.
He's got a happy stack instead of a sad stack.
Maybe he can take some of that money and get a better haircut.
Whoa. Whoa, man. Why do you keep attacking everybody?
I don't
you expect
know.
people to come play our game if you're just going to be like, well, this guy looks like a freaking idiot.
I'm just saying that.
I think Matt Vaughan looks perfectly fine. And I think
Perfectly fine. Yeah, that's a real compliment. Nice. Digital Dan playing the 4 deuce, and it's going to work.
it was really going to attract other vloggers to the game.
It's vloggers' paradise up in here. They know. They all want to come.
You want your haircut? you want to get your haircut criticized by Jonathan Levy?
Only if you're Matt Vaughan.
Come play on Poker
The
Time.
only vlogger I really give any trouble to will be Matt Vaughan because that
you're
guy-
kind of friends with him.
Yeah. I like giving that guy trouble. Trolling Matt Vaughan is like a side job for me.
You get paid for that?
I mean, I get paid in like good feelings.
Yeah.
Tried my best.
Didn't even use your one time either. Just sat back.
You used thoughts and prayers. I was just getting ready to.
I think he's referring to his haircut when he said tried my best.
See, it feels good, doesn't it? Digital Dan with the limp.
I mean, I think it's a good haircut. All right, Elwood should raise this.
Yeah. You cannot just limp this. No.
Okay,
Yes.
Here we go.
First, I was afraid he would fold it, but obviously he couldn't do that, right?
Well, he folded ace queen under the gun, so anything's possible.
Yeah. But we're in the hijack here as Elwood, and Brewer, I expect will call.
Yeah, although Elwood has been notably tight so far.
But this is the kind of hand that plays well against notably tight ranges.
Yep.
And he's on the button.
And he's actually got pretty good equity against the 2 hands he's going to be up against. Not that he knows that, but he will have decent pieces of equity here.
25%. Not bad with the button and the implied odds and all that. The 5, 7, 9, 2 spade board would be tasty.
1 diamond for the back door. That's pretty tasty, too. We got the queen for Elwood, and we've got Brewer with the pair and the flush draw.
Yeah.
Nothing for Digital Dan.
Digital Dan, glad he limped, I guess.
Elwood should usually continue here, mostly just because of the wetness of the board. Getting raised would suck, but that's just part of life.
He might get raised on this board, too. It's possible.
I think Brewer has enough showdown value that he feels comfortable calling most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. I think this should be a call. Some players will raise this.
And raising is not a bad play either.
He does call. Expect Digital Dan unless he loses his mind. Yep, it's gone. The hand, that is.
Let's see how Elwood's running. So far, so good, although the 9 is a bit of a scare card.
I expect he's going to check this, and it is. He's supposed to check call.
If he checks, Brewer should absolutely bet because he has the 9s in his range.
Also, he can bet as a protection bet, too, since there's a lot of bad cards for him now.
Right.
The queen would counterfeit him against ace high.
Yeah, if he gets called, it has to be a multi-street plan unless a queen comes, I think. He has to rep a 9 pretty hard on the river if he bets here and gets called and he doesn't improve.
I don't think he has to. I think he could take a showdown value.
I don't think
sometimes.
he has any showdown value against Elwood if Elwood check calls.
Against Elwood, maybe you're right.
Brewer does bet. That's a good play like that.
This should be a very straightforward call for Zach.
There's too much talking money over there. You can't be heard.
Brewer would bet top pair here. He would certainly bet a 9. He bet diamonds. As we see, he's betting an 8. with diamonds
He probably wouldn't have an 8 without diamonds on the flop. He'd probably just fold it.
because Dan was behind him.
Dan was behind him. Elwood's tight.
He could have an 8 with a gut shot.
Maybe,
Or
yeah.
10-8 or
8, 10 or
jack
jack 8,
8.
yeah.
Elwood does call. All right. Now we're going to see something.
Hey, Fritz.
He's actually rooting for a 9 or a queen here, I think. Those are his best possible cards.
That is not one of them.
Ooh,
Brewer
nope.
makes the flush. Now he gets to bet for value instead of as a bluff, and that's so much more fun.
When Brewer bets again, now there's almost nothing Elwood can actually beat.
He can beat like a ace of diamonds with a 10, where Brewer decided to float the flop and turn into a bluff. But that's about it.
Yeah. It's not enough. So I would expect Elwood, even though it's a good good hand, it's not good in this spot.
Time to use some of those tells, Zach.
He's thinking it through.
You're the tells guy. Look at Robert.
There you go. He just took a quick peek.
Plays poker and does crossword puzzles at the same time.
This is a tough spot against an aggressive player like Brewer.
Yeah. You could decide sometimes, like, well, I guess I just have to call. Like, a queen is pretty darn good. Although when you check call the turn,
Hope to still be
a
doing
queen is one of the worst hands you're going to have, right?
The price is pretty
Have to-
nice.
Yeah. Brewer not really giving anything away, it looks like. He's just sitting there waiting. He knows who he's up against. This is a very nice fold by Zach. Good
Yeah.
job.
It looks easy because you can see the cards, but it really is hard to throw away top pair when you've been running bad.
Yep, exactly.
Nicely played by both players.
Yeah, I agree. Like that Zach C-bet, he check called in a spot he really should be doing. I think both players played that hand ideally, actually.
Yeah. That's what I like to see. Some good play on Poker Time.
Yeah. Well, you know, Brewer's final table of the World Series event. He won our final table that we showed here. We showed it like 4.5
Yeah, that was
hours
maybe
of
my
final
favorite
table.
Poker Time we've ever done when we did a big final table of where Brewer won 20K for first place. That
Yep.
was fun.
Elwood has, as we said, been featured on podcasts and seminars and has written books and played a whole bunch of poker in his life. And Brewer once again with, well, we're going to rewind that because he definitely has the 10-9 of clubs.
And he's definitely not folding that hand in the cutoff.
No way. See if Isan decides to defend this time. Nope.
Probably not.
Folded the 7-4 off last time. The 7 had been exposed, but still, it seems like a pretty straightforward fold. Isan, it was the best hand.
How could you fold?
Oh, everyone's so tight at this table. Doesn't he know if he just wins this pot, that helps him?
Then he gets a pot win.
Yeah,
That's one in the favor of win.
Yeah, that's how you do it, right?
One pot.
Whoever wins the most pots.
Equals one mortgage payment.
I mean, it can,
It can.
depending on the size of the mortgage payment.
And the pot.
I don't know what that means.
Of course, right. The size of the pot is not a thing
It's
that you
irrelevant.
understand.
No, people talk about it, but it's just fake news. All right, here's Digital Dan.
Can we just not do fake news
All
jokes
right,
on
all
the
right.
poker guys in general?
It's permeated.
I
the
feel like
culture.
we're
it's permeated
we're
the
above
culture.
we're above that. Come on.
Fold. Fold.
Matt Vaughan gonna play.
Raise to 40.
But he made a mistake. It's the Destroyer's big blind. Luckily
Oh.
for him, the Destroyer decides to give him a pass.
Destroyer knows he's dominated and decides not to mess around.
Matt chose a deuce.
Yeah, I did. I meant to show the other one, the pretty one.
You were allowed to show the other one after you showed the deuce. Just mentioning that. Matt. You know, he screwed that up. Screwed that up like the way he screwed up the hair.
I don't like this, man.
No, it's too
No.
much.
I like Brewer's hat.
I
Matt's hair is good.
Okay.
Everybody looks great.
You like the Elwood shirt?
Yeah,
You're
watermelons.
you're gonna die on that bridge?
I mean, you go to a barbecue and he's there with that shirt. You're like, that guy is tons of fun.
Yeah.
I bet he eats a lot of watermelon.
I do love watermelon.
I mean, it's delicious.
It is. It's underrated and delicious.
It's just so heavy to take home from the grocery store. All right, Matt Vaughn's going to open the suited connectors.
Fold.
Gonna have to defend this one.
Yeah, this is non-fun defend hand, but you got to defend it.
No,
And
Digital.
I guess Digital Dan's only interested in fun.
You should change his name then. Because
Fun
being
Dan.
digital is not just about fun.
No, it's more about pixelation.
It's about commitment to the pixelation. heart and commitment.
and lines of code.
Yeah, it's about being what you dream.
And Alta Vista.
Ask Jeeves.
Yeah.
Like that type of deal. Sure. Mozilla.
I mean, Firefox is making a comeback.
It sure is. I'm glad.
Stewart continuing to be the guy on Poker Time who does the most blind raising,
Yep.
which is kind of strange.
He always sits in that seat too.
He requests it.
He looks less like a mob accountant this time around. I think it's the shirt.
He looks like
Assassin?
no, he looks like a guy from New York who went to a dude ranch on vacation.
That is alarmingly accurate.
Thank you.
Probably a good decision.
I mean, Stuart. Oh, that's right. It's a blind raise, of course, with the King 7. Matt Vaughan.
That would have been like a 7-way pot.
I didn't see if he. There you go. He does a very standard 3-bet there, and I guess Stuart's just gonna feel obligated to call here.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's this one.
And he doesn't. He lets it go.
Show the right one this time.
There you go.
I imagine he would call if it was suited.
What I tried to show.
Well, yeah, of course he would. Just people are gonna be maybe a little bit more apt to steal. Got a king in your hand,
A little bit.
but Matt Vaughan did also make it 75.
Yeah, and he
didn't
was
make it 60
he wasn't
or
on the
anything.
button or anything.
Right. He was more likely to have a real hand. Stuart, look at all the equity you gave up, though, bro. What are you doing? All you got to do is win the pot.
Hey, Brewer's following suit here with the blind race.
Okay, maybe we got a thing going here.
For those who don't remember, in Portland we can't do straddles, so the players are doing a much worse play of
Yes.
blind raising,
Much worse.
given no option if it limps to them.
But it does encourage action.
And we like that.
Yeah.
Fold.
The dynasty is over.
Fold.
Ken's going to eat up that blind raise. Yum yum.
Ken's a big fan of the Jack 9 off, I've noticed.
Digital Dan with an obligatory play. He could either call or raise.
Yeah,
Both are fine.
agreed.
Elwood with 9-8 off has not folded yet.
I mean, it's 3 or better fold, right? There's no way he's going to call with this. Okay. Looks like he's reaching for the $100 chips. Okay.
This is a classic squeeze play.
Look at this. Elwood.
As long as he pulls the trigger, he
Yeah.
has been notably tight so far. He
That's
might
the
just.
thing. He's
mean,
pulling the trigger.
It's good for his image. It's like
great.
He's got this tight image, makes it 210. This should probably get through Ken, and then Dan is going to have a weird decision, getting pretty good odds.
I think Dan's probably going to find a fold with no kicker, but let's see.
It is suited, of course.
It is. It helps, but
It would be nice if Elwood was a bit deeper
you're
too.
going to have some serious stack to pot issues if you call with Dan, even though you're in position. This is a pretty interesting play. So Zach Elwood, who refused to call on the button with a normal open with King Jack, he folded Ace Queen off under the gun. I guess he's found his sea legs because this is a pretty cool 3-bet.
Maybe he's found that he's stuck 1500, and
Yeah,
Dan's
maybe.
going to call.
Well, Elwood does not like that.
This is bad news for Zach.
That said, Dan's got, has no premium hands in his range, right?
No.
This is good news for
my
Zach.
goodness.
Good news.
That's a charmed life. You 3-bet out
Well-
of the small blind with 8-9 off, get called, and flop just the stones with no backdoor flush, or there's a backdoor flush,
I
but
mean,
no flush draw out
the
there.
problem is Digital Dan doesn't have anything.
That
right?
is
Otherwise, this would be the whole thing.
correct. If Dan just had jacks here, it would be wonderful, but he does not.
Exactly.
This
Ace
should just be
10,
the end of the hand.
Any 10, 2 9s, 2 8s, although we
What does
Zach
Dan?
block that?
Dan hasn't folded yet.
He's just takes his time.
That 6 of clubs out there might be enticing him.
Does have 2 back doors and an overcard, but come on.
He's drawing almost dead. He
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
club.
This feels like a very straightforward.
I mean,
Dan really is thinking about something here.
there's times
Is he going to raise?
There's times. Well, here's what Dan's thinking. He's
Okay.
probably thinking that Elwood has a premium pair
Right.
based on Elwood's image. He's thinking that 10-7-6 is sets for Dan all day, and sometimes 8-9 suited
Well-
in his range, and he's gonna raise.
This is, I mean, the board wise, this makes a lot of sense, but boy, this has not worked out.
This is bad timing, but I understand the thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Now, Elwood's got this great spot where there's actually nothing to be afraid of. There's not even a flush draw out there.
He doesn't want the board to pair. That's probably
No.
his biggest fear, because Dan has a lot of sets in his range.
He does, but it feels like Dan could also have 2 jacks here, something like that. Although you wouldn't really expect Dan to raise 2 jacks. Elwood, I think he's just going to call, although he could just move in and hope to get called by a set.
I mean,
If he believes Dan, he can move in.
if Dan has 2 pair of set, he should move in. If he doesn't, he should call. And I
Right.
guess he's assessing that Dan has enough bluffs that it's worth just calling here.
Maybe he also just thinks like 2 pair in a set is often going to get it in on the turn anyway, so he gets to keep the bluffs alive by calling. I like it. It does suck to be out of position where Dan can just check it back a lot.
And
It's a great card. for Zach, and that nothing changes. He still has the nuts.
It's a bad card for Dan in that Zach could have a set of queens now.
Yes, that's true.
I was just wondering if he should bet or check here.
He does check, giving Dan a chance to bluff. Will Dan pull the trigger? It's got 920 back. Maybe Dan's hoping. I'm not sure what Dan would be hoping Zach's going to fold at this point.
Ace 10.
That he 3-bet.
Pocket jacks.
Yeah, pocket jacks. Is he really going to fold pocket jacks because the queen came, though?
I think he's going to fold pocket jacks not because the queen came, because he's like, okay, I believe you now.
That's a better reason, yeah. But he also just, lost a big pot and may feel a little more stuck to some hands.
Yes.
This is probably, I like Dan's moxie. Probably time to give up.
Oh, he just moved in.
And then the call.
Zach
And
calls
of
instantly,
course, and
There-
Dan is drawing dead.
See, now we can see the Dan pain. He's like, okay, well, I don't have anything.
Okay, I guess I have to show my hand because that's the rules of the game.
Even though it's a cash game.
And-
See, that would have been a scary card in the river.
That is how you get off the toilet if you're Zach Elwood. Nice last hand of this
Wow.
episode for Zach. Let's
Yeah.
see if he can keep it going next episode. See you next Tuesday for more poker time.